Hi everyone, Anna Sirgunina is here and I want to ask you a question today. What is one question you should be asking yourself when you're thinking about making sure that you can stay on the top of everything that you're trying to accomplish? I just finished reading a book called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and it kind of prompted me to think about some of the areas of my life. So personal development has been an interesting topic for myself over a long number of years. Hi Jane, awesome to have you here. Now, thanks so much for joining me. For those of you watching live, I appreciate you here. If you're watching this in replay, let me know. For those of you who would love to share this with a friend or two, I am also grateful for you passing down the information. So personal development, top of the mind for me. I've constantly reading and improving. And you might be wondering, how does this relate to personal finances? I'll get there in just a minute. But in reading this book, The One Thing by Gary Keller is one of the founders of Keller Williams, the big real estate residential real estate broker, in case you don't recognize the name. I highly recommend the book, by the way. So it got me thinking, right? Because I finally realized the mistake that I was making, right, by working on personal development. And the mistake I was making, you want to know? Because I think I'm not the only one, is really came down to I was trying to work on improving everything at the same time. And I'll give you an example. I wanted to have a clear, defined schedule about taking care of my physical body. So that means going to the gym, certain time of the day, every day, right, including the weekends, and not giving myself a break. I wanted to read all the books I could on my favorite topics, right, every day without taking any breaks. I wanted to be better with my personal finances, right, so continue having discussions and conversations and money dates with my husband. I wanted to have a lot of fun times and relationships with friends. I now have a 5-month-old baby, right, which changed a lot for me. So when I'm thinking about improving everything at the same time, there's just not enough willpower, as I would always say that I'm strong, I can get through this. But at the end of the day, right, at the end of the week or at the end of the month, we just run out of that. But what's the way out? Because I personally still want success, just like many of you. When it comes to personal finances, it's not any different. There's really one thing that each of us needs to focus on in order for our overall financial plans, right, or financial lives to come together. So my question for you today is, what is that one thing for you that you need to become crystal clear on and execute on every day, day in and day out? I highly recommend you check out Gary's book. But what I also want to offer you today is I'm teaching a webinar on Thursday, June 27th at 12 p.m. Pacific on incorporating this idea of one thing into how you can actually level up your personal finances. Doesn't matter where you are in life, whether you're starting out or you have debt on your plate. Maybe you already conquered the debt and you have a clearly identified strategic plan of how you're going to save for your retirement. Maybe you have kids like me and you have a college savings plan, or maybe you're still struggling to figure out how to put all of these pieces together. And here I'm telling you that you need to focus on this one thing, right, and one thing only, right, in order for all of this to work. So come join me live on June 27th at 12 p.m. I'm teaching this masterclass, and the goal here is that I want to help you get more clarity. I want to help you get on the path of where you have clearly, specifically identified financial goals, right? Because we need to work through the clutter first in order to identify that one thing, right? That one thing that each of us has to have a clear and precise focus. Because let's face it, everything else could probably be outsourced. So we're going to talk about how we get clear on what your financial goals are, what your strategy needs to be for your investing needs, what your strategy needs to be as far as how much you need to save. So what I'm trying to help you create here is this financial roadmap where you have a direction in which you're going to be heading, and all the steps along the way that you need to take in order to become successful. I'm excited for this. This is a new thing that I'm putting together, so I would love if you can join me. Register in the link below, and I will see you on Thursday, June 27th at 12 p.m. Pacific. Thanks so much for tuning in.